Hollywood thinks they're the masters of dictating a moral compass. The industry perpetuates how Americans should feel ethically, yet they are embroiled in sex scandals and star in violent films. And here are the best pro-gun movies that star anti-gun hypocrites. Emma Stone in Zombieland. Zombieland could be classified as a movie of the moment type of film. It's one of those rare movies that turned out to be unexpectedly amazing, becoming somewhat of a cult classic. It's a hilarious film and an extremely violent one. Stone's character is trying to take her sister to a California amusement park they had visited back when the world wasn't taken over by zombies. You also get a surprise appearance by Bill Murray as himself, which steals the show. Emma Stone was among the many celebrities urging Americans to reject the NRA in the wake of the Las Vegas mass shooting last October. George Clooney in From Dusk Till Dawn. George Clooney recently pledged $500,000 to a gun control march. Meanwhile, his career is littered with roles, at least a dozen, in which his characters wield a gun. From Dusk Till Dawn is the epitome of a wildly structured movie written by the infamous Quentin Tarantino, who also stars alongside Clooney. The reason why the structure is unique is because the genre switches about halfway through. What begins as a violent escape to Mexico thriller turns into a vampire horror flick. It's best if you know nothing about the plot before you watch, but it's still a crazy good time regardless. Matt Damon in the Bourne trilogy. Matt Damon may be best known around the world for his iconic role as gun-wielding CIA agent Jason Bourne, but the star has spent years railing against the Second Amendment. Damon praised Australia's gun ban in 2016 and how it was implemented in one fell swoop. He said, "I wish that could happen in my country, but it's such a personal issue for people that we cannot talk about it sensibly." All of the Bourne movies are highly entertaining except for the most recent Jason Bourne, which was the fourth installment. Matt Damon plays a pseudo-James Bond type character who suffers from amnesia and can't remember how he became such a lethal killer. Particularly, the Bourne Ultimatum is the most intense and most realistic. Jim Carrey in Kick-Ass 2. Jim Carrey has spent years making films with characters using guns, but in 2013, Carrey called defenders of the Second Amendment heartless mother. You get the point. Recently, he pushed for gun control by sharing original artwork with his 17 million followers on Twitter. Kick-Ass was a fun box office smash, and Kick-Ass 2 was just as fun and even more ridiculous than its predecessor. Even though it made much less money than the first film, the black comedy is about a group of vigilante masked crusader kids who try to stop crime in their city. Carrey plays Colonel Stars and Stripes, a superhero who leads his team called Justice Forever. His performance is ridiculous in the way he is always over the top in all his roles, and it ultimately fits perfectly with the tone of the film. Mark Ruffalo in Collateral. Mark Ruffalo joined celebrities calling for gun control by mocking those praying for the victims after the deadly Parkland, Florida shooting. He had tweeted, "Prayers without a coordinate action are silent lies told to oneself, heard by no God, amounting to nothing. Action is the language of truth, the prayers of the saints." Ruffalo's coming out party was the Michael Mann-directed hit Collateral, which features Tom Cruise as a lethal assassin who forces a cab driver, Jamie Foxx, to chauffeur him around to finish the job. Ruffalo plays the detective who is trying to get to the bottom of the whole thing. In typical Michael Mann fashion, he directs a visceral look into contract killing through the eyes of a tepid cab driver. Samuel L. Jackson in Pulp Fiction. Samuel L. Jackson has spent 30 years wielding guns on screen in more than 35 films. While the Avengers star has long advocated for the Second Amendment, he also called President Donald Trump a mother, you get it, and mocked his proposal to arm teachers, a proposal that nearly half the country believes is a good idea. Pulp Fiction is an all-time movie classic by Quentin Tarantino. The Academy Awards arguably shafted Pulp Fiction when it was nominated for Best Picture in 1994. The award ultimately went to Forrest Gump. In Pulp Fiction, Jackson became infamous for giving one of the greatest monologues in movie history just before violently murdering a bunch of thieves in his apartment. What will be incredibly interesting going forward is whether these actors will decline from playing violent, gun-wielding characters in the future, or keep making the big bucks to play them. Either way. If you would like to receive more real news that you can trust, please subscribe to our YouTube channel.